This is the next part on how to blind solve the Rubik's Revenge. At this point, you should have all your edges done, and if you have edge parity, the only two edges you should have wrong are your R location and E location, and all your centers should be rotated. I started to explain in the next video how to fix edge parity, and if you have edge parity, this is what you're going to do. I said in the other video, you're going to perform the first algorithm I showed you, the FDRURI algorithm, and you're going to do it 3 times, alright? The reason is because the way it works is every time you perform it, all the centers rotate, and these 3 edges go through a 3 cycle. So because of that, if you perform it 3 times, the edges will not be affected. And however, since the centers rotate every time 180 degrees, when you perform it once, these centers will be over here, perform it again, they'll go back over, perform it again, they'll be back, meaning all your centers will be fixed. This entire slice of centers is going to rotate 180 degrees if you perform it 3 times, and your edges should be back to normal. So here's what you're going to do. So you look, you have your edge parity, and this is what you do. You're going to do algorithm once. If you do it once, it should look like this. Your centers are back to normal, however, these 2 edges need to be flipped. You do it again. These 2 edges need to switch. And all these centers need to go one more time. So you do the algorithm one more time. And all your centers should be back to normal from where you were when you started. And these 2 edges should be still unsolved. Now, here's the most annoying part, or the second most annoying part of the whole thing, of all of blind solving. Alright? As you know, like I said, I could not find a way to fix this. These 4 centers on the bottom are all going to rotate. Alright? I'm going to explain what to do, what happens when you have edge parity beforehand. I'm going to explain it later. So, what you have to do is you've got to find a way to switch this edge and this edge, and then rotate all the bottom centers like it's going to happen. So, here's what you're going to have to do. There is an algorithm that you can do that technically it switches these 2 edges. Okay? However, it affects your centers in a way that you have to do a lot of setup and maneuvering and everything like that. So I'm going to explain how to do it. First off, you got to get this edge up here without disturbing this edge. So what you're going to do, if you have edge parity, you're going to perform this setup move. DI, RI, B. And as you can see, the edge is now up there. I'll show you it again. So make sure you're going to perform this setup. DI, RI, B. Alright, now your 2 edges should be opposite of each other. It doesn't matter where your centers are or how they're twisted yet for this part. But you're going to need to know one algorithm. This algorithm is in my 4x4 tutorial, but I'm going to give it to you in a letter sequence. Alright, so what that algorithm is going to do is it's going to switch these 2 edge pieces, but then it's going to do something complicated. It's going to take these centers, put them here. These centers, it's going to put them here. These centers, it's going to put them over here. These centers, puts them up here. So it goes through a weird cycle of the centers. So you have to be careful when you use it. So this is how you're going to do it. The way you're going to get it to work and have it not affect your centers is you're going to perform the algorithm 3 times. However, that's not just going to fix it. Every time you perform the algorithm, these 2 are going to switch, so you need to perform an odd number of times to get them solved. However, there's something you have to do every time you perform the algorithm. Once you perform the algorithm once, you have to do a D2 move. I'm not going to go into full explanation why, but how I figured this out, but when you perform the D2 move, it'll switch your centers to the point that you can perform it again and not everything's screwed up. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take the algorithm I just showed you, R, 2 B's, 2 D's, BI, RI, B, 2 D's, BI, R, BI, 2 R's. If you look, your 2 edges are solved. However, your centers are very different than what they were before. You're going to perform the algorithm once, then you're going to do a D2 move. Okay? Perform the algorithm again. These two edges should be unsolved again. Not only that, your center should still be wrong. Now you've done the algorithm twice. Perform another D2 move. This way your edges are back, your entire bottom center, not bottom centers, your bottom edges should be back to normal. And your centers are still wrong at this point. So you're going to perform the algorithm one more time. And there your edges should be solved again. And these centers, and your centers should look the same on your top and front face, and same with all the other faces. They shouldn't have been unaffected, actually. The bottom had all of its centers rotated 180 degrees by doing that. I could not find a way to put them back. So I'm sorry, there's nothing I could do. Now, you have to undo the set of moves. If you don't remember what it was, the set of moves were D-I-R-I-B, so you're going to do B-I-R-D. And now, all of my edges are solved. The only side effect I had were my centers rotated 180 degrees. Alright, now that you have all of your edges solved, if you had parity, you did it like me. If not, then you had all your centers rotate. The next thing to solve are your corners. And if you, like I asked you to review my tutorial on how to solve Blindsolve the 3x3, you're going to know how to do it. You orient all the corners and permute all the corners. Now, there's another parity you can have with this, corner parity. Corner parity is much easier to do. It does not involve very long algorithms, and actually it can be done faster, even though it is kind of long. However, the orientation of corners should remain exactly the same. Alright, what you do, you should have looked at my video at this point, I'm not going to go into detail. You look, this corner has to turn clockwise, 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 0, counterclockwise, counterclockwise, 0. So it's CCC, 0AA, 0. Alright, if you had your own if you create your own way to memorize corners, then you can go ahead and use that. So, that's how you memorize it, so I'm just going to do it quickly. Just use the algorithms from my tutorial. There you go, see the corners turn now. So it turns clockwise. And the last one turns clockwise as well. If you're confused on how to do this, look back at my tutorials on how to blind solve the Rubik's Cube. This one turns counterclockwise. And the last one turns counterclockwise also. Alright, now all your corners should be oriented, and all your edges solved. I'm not going to have enough time to go through the permutation of all the edges, and there's something I have to explain with it also. So this is the next part on how to blind solve the Rubik's Revenge. Thanks for watching.